The Altamaha River Project focuses on the protection of an entire ecosystem as a bioreserve. We currently are conducting an extensive biological survey to discover and catalog the many different types of natural communities and plant and animal species along the length of the river. When the survey is complete, we will compile a viable economic and ecological plan that will identify the most vulnerable natural communities and guide the long-term protection of the ecosystem that is so essential to the animals and plants and the people who use and depend on the Altamaha for their livelihood. Banks Lake is located just east of the Okefenokee Swamp. Draped with wispy tendrils of Spanish moss, thousands of pond cypress reflect in the lustrous, mirror-like surface of the dark waters and create a mystical, unworldly environment. Surrounding the deep waters of the lake is a unique wetland system of swamp, grassy marsh, and pitcher plant bog. The lush, prairie-like environment of Georgia's longleaf pine forests has evolved and thrives because of fire. Tufted clumps of wiregrass spring back to life just hours after the flames die. It is the undisturbed soil within these longleaf pine forest enclaves that provide a home for Georgia's rare stands of wiregrass. These are the richest and most diverse natural plant communities in North America. Any 2-acre plot may sustain as many as 3,000 plant species. 50 of these plant communities are endangered. If they are lost, so are the species that depend upon them for survival. America's longleaf pine region, once extending from Virginia to Texas, covering an estimated 60 to 70 million acres, today covers less than 6% of that range and can be found only in isolated pockets.
Georgia has grown its fastest in the 20th century with the migration into the Sun Belt. This growth trend accelerated urbanization and spawned the building boom of the 1980s, placing more and more demands on and threatening Georgia's water resources. As population increases, as urban and industrial development continues, the contamination of Georgia's streams and rivers will intensify. This can be a slow and seemingly harmless process. Sometimes decades pass, and so passes the memory of what once was a clean, healthy stream and how it gradually became of little use except to carry waste. It is this slow but steady progression that makes it difficult to understand how one more acre cleared, one more lot paved, one more structure built, inevitably, step by step, will bring about the destruction of another rural turned urban stream. The most dramatic change occurs in the early stage of development, when a construction site is first cleared. As development continues, more and more trees and ground cover are removed, and more natural areas are replaced with impervious surfaces. Until finally, urban streams that are subjected to the long-term accumulation of contaminated runoff no longer can support life or recreation and become little more than open sewers. As the 21st century approaches, Georgia's most critical need is water, an adequate, clean water supply that can sustain continued growth and prosperity. We now know that the way we are living is affecting the quality of the water we use for drinking, for cooking, for bathing, for recreation, as well as the water used by fish and wildlife. Just as non-point pollution is a collective result of personal actions, prevention must be a collective act, involving all who live and work in Georgia.